Testing, testing. Okay, everything looks good. Guys, I'm putting out finally another podcast. I am honestly, we're just gonna get right into it. I'm disappointed in myself how I have went out of my way to bring this microphone from the States to Hungary with me, where I will be for the next 2 years pursuing my MBA. And it's just been hanging, sitting pretty on my desk as a ornament. And when people come over, something to talk about, like, oh yeah, you have a microphone, you do podcasting, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm really interested in it, and it's something that I want to pursue more, but there is little to no action behind it. Particularly, what I wanted to hear myself talk about was the concept of not the concept, it's the practice of consistency, because I've been in Hungary now since September 2022. It is currently March 31st, 2023. 4 in the morning here in Hungary. Actually, I couldn't sleep, so I just figured, okay, I'm just gonna do something productive. The reason I can't sleep is because I took a nap today, and the reason I took a nap today is because I stayed up late last night, and the reason I stayed up late last night was I took a nap the day before that. So consistency has just been something I have honestly been struggling with since I got here. Consistently sitting down to meditate, consistently going to bed at a reasonable hour, consistently exercising, consistently keeping up track of assignments, consistently keeping track of money, keep consistently making calls to family members, or making contact with those people that I are important in my life. And it's it's something I think that a majority of us struggle on, but realistically, on this podcast, I am not in a position to tell anybody what to do. It's just really a self reflection on myself. When I am consistent with things, I am so much happier. When I'm not being consistent with things, in any level whatsoever, I see myself getting off the track. I see myself losing joy. I see myself falling back, and it's a roller coaster of emotion, and that's not really something. That's not that it's not really something I want in my life. That's something I don't want in my life. I don't want to live my life according to a roller coaster, and I know exactly what is a huge cause of that, and it's when I'm not keeping up with the things that are important to me or that make me feel good. Exercising is something that I love to do, and I've found calisthenics parks here, and I even if I don't go to a calisthenics park, I love running, so going for a run is also great. But there's times where for a week or maybe even 10 days I don't do any sort of exercise, and then that just leads into a whole landslide of just getting off track of things. I have been maintaining like a one-page calendar where every single day has like maybe a 2 inch by 2 inch square, and I fill that in. And there's days where I don't do anything for like a week, and then I pick up my calendar, this one-page calendar, kind of like a little mini journal, and I go over to look at it, and there's an entire week missing, and I honestly can't even remember what I did on 7 days, 5 days ahead. And I'll try to fill it in, but it's these gaps of just inconsistency that really get to me, and it affects my mental health, it affects my mood, it affects my self-perception, and it's just something that is really tough to deal with. And I've identified that one of the problems that I've been having over the last couple of months is that, back in the States, I was fishing, I was hunting. I wouldn't even consider those things hobbies. I am a fisherman. I am a hunter. I am an outdoorsman. I am, groundskeeper, for lack of a better word, to helping my parents out at their place whenever I would, leave my place to go down and spend the weekend over there, and I was these things are not just things that I do. They're really parts of who I am. And coming to a major city here in Hungary, Budapest, I'm not hunting anymore. So that part of me is on hold severely, or majorly on hold. Hunting is majorly on hold. And one of the things I have identified that I failed to do, which is making this transition even still difficult, almost 8 months down the line, is that I haven't allocated that energy that I was spending on those different things that I like to do outdoors as an outdoorsman. I wasn't allocating that energy really towards anything. So, that leads to just feelings of lethargicness and feeling that I'm not doing enough, and then that feeling of not doing enough makes you feel like, oh, I'm not good enough. Like, what's wrong with me? It's really been a tough thing, but the good side of this challenge is that learning how to take that energy I would have spent on something else and willingly apply it to other things is allowing me to become more flexible of a person and grow into more. Yeah, I as much as I love, like I said, all these outdoor activities, and I consider myself an outdoorsman, I really don't even consider it hobbies. Like, hobbies is something you'll do when you have time, but I live for this stuff, and I really, really, oh man, if I could do it all day, I would. I'm sure I'll get there at some point in my life, but right now is the time to grind and challenge myself and like I said, become more flexible and to grow into different things. So having that serene and outdoor part of my life on hold is forcing me to grow into different things. For example, I'm talking to a microphone right now. I'm going to put it on YouTube, and I'm not looking for a million hits, but I'm looking to at least build something within myself that I have the confidence to sit down in front of a microphone and put my feelings out into the world. I'm not looking for anything. I'm really not. But if something happened, great, fantastic. That would be amazing. But I'm not sitting here looking for that. And I haven't checked the status of my YouTube channel in months and months and months. I haven't seen what I'm trending in, and maybe that's why my YouTube channel isn't growing. Like and subscribe, by the way. But it's like I said, it's something I just want to do, and just to do it, and naturally, that's how I think really big breakthroughs come through. Is just not. I mean, of course, I'm not saying ignore metrics and whatever, but what I'm just saying is that when it comes to me and the way I want to do something is I just want to do it because I love it, and then whatever happens with it is going to happen, and I'll naturally have a willingness to get better at things that I like and take it to a new level. And so, I'm just really trying to do what I can to be a more consistent person. Taking care of myself is a huge aspect of that, and I think it really also comes down to exercising. I think that exercising has one of the biggest impacts on how I feel. And I was actually watching something on YouTube, and at this point, you see all those apps for increase your IQ with this game or whatever. I know it's crap, and I don't even bother with it, but somebody that I respect on YouTube, who I've been listening to for a long time, is saying that the only really proven thing to increase your IQ is actual exercise, weightlifting, calisthenics, etc. So, I really try to do that as much as I can, and I'm amazed at how much of an impact it makes on me. Like, just the other day, I had class from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and I was up at 6, so that's 14-hour day. And after, in the middle of class, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm tired. I'm just ready to go home. And as soon as I get out of that class and I start getting towards my house, I start to feel something bubble up inside me, all this energy. I'm like, dude, go for a workout. And then that's exactly what I did. I felt great on the way there. I felt great on the way back. Just even today, I doubled up 2 days in a row. A good solid run to another calisthenics park over on Margit Sziget, which is Margaret Island in the center of Budapest on the Central River. Beautiful spot, highly recommend. But yeah, on the way there, I ran maybe 75% of the way, and I took the tram for the rest. Did my workout, and I had more energy to run all the way back home than I didn't have on the way in. So it's amazing how your body will just generate energy as long as you're putting it in a situation to, to be fruitful. So, I'm not gonna lie, I still have such a long way to go. It's unbelievable how fast I get off of things. Like, I have all these different to-do lists, and I still need to consolidate my budget for this month, and for like the last 2 months, and see where I'm spending the most money. Although I can probably already imagine, but just simple budget consolidation to sit down and do it. The good news is that spring break is going to be launching today. Now it's Friday, since it's, like I said, it's almost 4 a.m. here. So today is Friday, and spring break is launching on April. After my classes today, spring break is launching for an entire week. So during that spring break, I'm holding myself to a couple of different things. However, now that I mentioned that, holding myself to a couple of different things, I am the kind of person that can't make a giant laundry list of, I'm going to meditate 30 minutes at night. I'm going to meditate 30 minutes in the evening. I'm going to food prep. I'm going to work out every single day. I'm going to read 10 pages every single day. I'm going to make 10 phone calls a day. When I overload myself, eventually nothing gets done. And I think that that's not something that I won't be able to do in the future. But like I said, right now I need to take a smaller bite. I can be honest with myself that if I have this big giant laundry list of things that I want to make a daily habit, I may do it for a day or two or maybe even 3, but at this point I've seen my pattern of behavior, and before I know it, I'm not doing any of it. So my goal over the spring break is just to prioritize 3 things in my life that I want to test myself over this spring break and work up from there. And I really think there's a lot of value in starting things small and then working up versus just putting this big giant thing in front of the table. And if you can do that, great, good for you. That's really something to be proud of. This whole point of this whole podcast is not just about me just to hear myself talk. It's maybe to give you a perspective of if you can relate to what I'm talking about, and maybe my problems are something that you deal with, and if there's some sort of way where that my realizations that, hey, as much as I want to change and as much as I want to become consistent at the things that I'm doing, I need to just take smaller steps at first. That's not to say, again, that down the line I'll be able to do 10 habits every single day. But at this point, I know myself. I know my habits. I know my pattern of behavior, like I said before. And it's that and this is something I do with food. This is something I've done in the past with alcohol. This is something that I've done with really just about everything in my life. I overload my plate and then I deal with consequences. Even with, just like I said, even with food. Like, my dad had the balls to point out to me that if I'm filling up a bowl of soup, I fill it completely to the brim, and then I'm spilling it on the travel back to the table, or I'm burning my hand and just making a scene, even though it's just us in the kitchen or whatnot. But or even serving the soup in the first place, that the ladle that you fill up, that you use to transfer the soup from the kettle to the bowl. Fill it 100% of the way. Fill the ladle 100% of the way, and then try to manage to pour it into the bowl when there is no rush. Just fill it 75% of the way. You'll be able to move the ladle faster, transfer the soup faster, and same thing with even eating just in general. Don't overload the fork, and you need to open your mouth so wide. I think not many parents would tell their kids this. I personally can't really think of I've never seen other parents do it, but it's kind of a private matter. But on my way here, my dad had the guts to just to tell me, like, you may have been working on your drinking, but you still do excess in just about everything, like. And this working out is even like it even trickles into working out on my end. Like, I'll go to the park and kill myself for an hour and a half, and then I can't work out for 3-4 days. Like, even right now, I'm kind of sore, but when it comes to working out over the last couple of weeks, I'm reaching a point where I'm like, okay, that's enough for today, because I know that I want to work out the next day. Ideally, working out 5 times a week would be my goal, but it's just these little things and just reflecting on myself, and that's why I'm really happy about having this microphone, and it's not even the microphone. It's just the willingness to sit down and talk out loud. And whether I put it out in the future or not, who knows? I don't care. But since I'm doing it, I might as well. I have a YouTube channel, so why not? But yeah, I hope to have a summary of what's going on over the spring break, and come back with a report of how I did. When I'm thinking about the 3 habits I want to start with to do on a daily basis, I'm thinking of body, mind, and soul. So 1 habit for body, 1 habit for mind, 1 habit for soul. At this point, I'm thinking some sort of physical exercise every single day. Something, whether what it actually some sort of physical exercise, including even a walk, going outside for a walk, going outside for a short jog, going outside. Okay, you know what? Yeah, I'll just set a minimum bar at is just going for a walk. So that is going to be my body habit, some sort of exercise, even if it's just a walk. For mind, let's say I'll start off reading 5 pages of a couple of different books that I brought here. I'll start with 5 just because I know if it's 10, I've challenged myself to read 10 pages every single day, and it's actually kind of embarrassing how fast I fall off. But 5, and then close it, and then just move on. Because if I say 5 and then I go over and I do 15, then before I know it, I'm not going to want to read tomorrow. So 5 pages every single day. And for soul, just something related to the Bible, whether I read the Bible or do some sort of actual session of prayer or meditation, which also I'll allow myself to include in mind, some sort of like sobriety effort. I'll be happy with that. So with those 3 things, I think I'm having set up myself for a solid spring break to really reflect on myself and just become that person I know that I can be. We have that thing inside of us. There's always a voice inside of us saying that you aren't who you can be yet. And I just hope we all are able to do what we can to get there, and just have the guts to even say it to ourselves. Because, there's a part of me, there's been times in my life where I'm like, I am on top of the freaking world. But, as I've gotten older, you kind of get a bigger view of, it's like, oh yeah, there's a lot you can do in this world. There is a lot of people to look up to. There's a lot of people to learn from. So I'm just glad that I have it in my head that I'm not who I am. I'm not where I am not who I could be, simply put. Jordan Peterson talks about this. If you are subscribed to the right things on Instagram, that's like one of the core messages, like, motivation. You aren't who you could be, but you still can be. You aren't who you could be, but you can still get closer to that. And the hell is when the you could have been meets the you that you are. So, I know personally, like how off track I can get. Oh my god, there's been times where I caused myself some serious headaches by no other fault of my own. And, you know, just being in this opportunity where I am right now, full scholarship, not really worried about money. I just threw a dinner party last week, and oh my God, we laughed so hard. I laughed harder then than I have laughed harder that night than I could even I can even remember. I couldn't even breathe. The next day, my throat was killing me. In fact, I feel like my voice is a little bit deeper. I feel like my voice is a little bit deeper. I feel like my voice is a little bit deeper right now because I think my throat still kind of hurts from that. Oh my God, it was so much fun. I had a lot of good people here. The food was a great way to get together, but you know, we were playing games. We were being just like creative with different games and just laughing our asses off. Oh my God, it was so funny. The commentary from my colleagues and classmates out here, it was so funny. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's a really beautiful opportunity that I'm in the middle of, and I give the credit first and foremost to God, and then second to sobriety. I was around about a year sober when I got here, but honestly, I'm kind of restarting to get back to that point. That's I'm going to be totally honest with myself. Oh my God, my parents might hear this. Oh well. I'm doing fine, guys. I promise. It's just a hiccup, bump in the road, no problem. I'm great. You know, love mom and dad. They're also a huge part of why I'm out here. I got to give them my thanks as well, especially actually not even just especially my dad, since technically the scholarship that I'm on uh, has been reserved for Hungarian blood outside of Hungary. So, you know, not even just my dad, but my mom encouraging me, my mom reminding me that, you know, God has a plan, and my mom just, my parents, even my friends, you know, like I remember telling them, and then, you know, you have good friends when they don't try to talk you out of good things. You know, they're happy for you. You can tell them good news, you can tell them bad news. That's Jordan Peterson. I can't take any credit for that. But you know, I have good friends, you know, and it pained me to leave them. But I gotta say, I have more friends here than I did back in the States, and it's just a different relationship, though. You know, like I don't think there's a single one of the people that I know right now here in Hungary that I would particularly want to go like sit in a boat and go fishing with. I gotta be honest, but I can think of a very big handful of people back in the States that I would love to visit, fish with, and you know, I'm looking forward to going home in the summer for a little bit and doing that. But you know, life is good despite, you know, the issues. But you know, I was actually listening to a podcast by Joel Osteen. He's a pastor out in Houston, Texas, Lakewood Church. I highly recommend him. I will tell you, that guy got me out of the depths of hell when I was in the deepest part of a bottle. I'm not even kidding. You know what? One day I'll go into that story of like really like what was going on there, but I honestly right now I don't feel really comfortable doing that. But oh my God, is it a story? But yeah, he's just talking about how you know, God sets the sail for your life, and not only sets the sail, but is the wind. So, you know, when we're out in the ocean of our life, and I just was experiencing this last week. Last week, I was straight up depressed for a week. I missed classes, I missed deadlines, and that depression came on from a lack of consistency in the things that I need to be happy. Diet, spirituality, sobriety, exercise, you know, socializing. It was a scary place. I've never been, I can't say I've ever been honestly like I'm struggling to get out the word really. I can honestly say I've never struggled with depression. And trust me, there was times where I put myself in shitty situations. I remember, oh my God, high school, there was like 3 months where I couldn't go because I was misbehaving. There was times where I was disappointing my parents, all these different things. I never felt depressed, but because I always knew there was going to be hope somewhere. Like I was still in a very comfortable place. Realistically, I was very comfortable. Whether I was living at home or just living in the States, or just like I knew where my next meal was coming from. Not that is not the case. Not that it's not the case here. Everything is totally fine here. But like, when you're living at home, or you're living in a familiar area, or you're not trying to accomplish something you've never done before, like this MBA program in a university that I've never been to, in a country that I realistically know very little about, with a language that I know almost nothing about. I'm working on it. My dad really pushed me to put that bug in my ear, so I appreciate that too. A little bit of chamomile tea. It just hit 4 a.m. 4 a.m. here in Hungary, March 31st, 2023. Oh, I turned 29 just a couple of days ago as well. Coincidentally, well, actually not even coincidentally. Truthfully, that was during like that week that I was depressed. I didn't do a single damn thing for my birthday. But that following weekend, I did throw that dinner party, and it really made up for that. And I also had a good friend visit me on my birthday as well, and, spend some time with me, brought me a very thoughtful and generous gift. Very happy about that. But, now, what's also really nice out here is that the spring is coming into action. The trees are blooming on the streets, at the parks, the annual bushes, there's a lot of, I don't know what the flower is, but it's a bush that has white, or has yellow flowers. Very, very beautiful. And so things are blooming, the sun is getting a little bit stronger. The nights aren't really cold. I'll probably crack a door in my apartment soon, once I'm finished with this, and just let the fresh air come in. I'm wearing like a light sweater and just sleeping shorts, but that's really helping too. I have a much greater appreciation for the weather we had back in my home state, in the States, because a lot of sunlight. Even it didn't matter how cold it was. The coldness is not the problem. I think it's the lack of sunlight sometimes. Vitamin D is so critical. I legitimately think over the winter I had seasonal affective disorders, SAD for short. Yeah, but I also started taking some vitamin D supplements, and that's been helping as well. I think it's been helping. I mean, like I can admit to myself that I haven't even getting nearly as much vitamin D as I used to get, and I really do thrive on sunlight and being outside. But yeah, it was a wet and cloudy winter, and even today it was kind of crappy. And we're just getting out of it. We're starting to have more sunny days than not. But yeah, the winter was tough, man. I have a much greater appreciation for the variability in weather that from my home state, and that's. Oh man, it's crazy. All these little different factors that are in our lives that affect how we feel, how we think, but I need to remind myself that I am not a slave to my environment. I can choose every single day to have a success. I can choose every single day to be happy. I can choose every single day to let things go. I can choose every single day to be grateful. I can choose every single day to thank God. I can choose every single day what I want to do with my day. But all I'm saying is that there's a lot of factors out there, and it's easy to fall into it. And I'm not making any claim against you or anybody else. I'm just talking about myself. It's easy to fall into those excuses of this, and this is affecting me is affecting me. I just went off on the sunlight thing. It's I could have done things to like not be at the will of the sun. I have my own will. God bless me with that. That being said, guys, I don't want to overtalk. We're hitting 30 minutes. I haven't done a 30-minute podcast ever. So, I'm looking forward to maybe having a guest next time. I have a lot of great people out here that I would like to have a discussion with. So, that being said, guys, stay blessed. I'm doing what I can. Please do what you can. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. I really would like to know what you think. Maybe if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear some suggestions on my end of what I can do. I would like to read and hear about like what you guys personally do for just staying consistent, or tell me where you are in terms of how many days you've been consistent with one thing you've been trying to accomplish, or two things. I don't know. I would like to get some feedback. So that being said, guys, have a great rest of your day. And so it's 6 hours difference in Hungary. So right now we're going to be putting this out at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we're looking at 4 a.m. Central Eastern Time. So that being said, guys, have a great evening, and I will follow up as soon as I can with the spring break update. Take care, guys. Bye now.